Welcome back to Media Day Live here on our CA Football Twitter page. I'm Bobby Broyles along with Brandon Noble. We have the Delaware Blue Hens up, Joe Walker to my right, Troy Reeder far left, and we have head coach here, Danny Rocco. Coach, first of all, 7-4 last year, best record for the Blue Hens in quite some time. What are some of the expectations and goals here as year two here in your tenure?
Well, I think that our goals really never changed. We were always committed to competing for a conference championship and winning in the postseason. I think those are the two things that have remained constant with me throughout my career as a head football coach. So I think we took a giant step forward last year. I think flipping from 4-7 to 7-4 kind of was a necessary stepping stone to kind of rebuild the confidence that we could be relevant when it comes time to go to the postseason.
Coach, you've been in the CAA for a little while, though. You have a history in the league. Talk a little bit about the conference and just kind of how you never really know who the team's going to be this year.
Yeah, that's a great thought, and it's a great question because year in and year out, you really do not know. I think what JMU's done here the last couple seasons is very rare and very unique. But for the most part, you can kind of throw the preseason predictions out the window. These things are always settled on the field, and it's amazing how many early season games and results really dictate how the season plays out. And this is a league where, in theory, anybody really can beat anybody on any given day. And as you check scores across the league every week there's an oh wow score out there. So I do think that my program has taken a step forward towards being, more consistent in being able to offer a higher level of performance on a week in and week out basis.
Troy, you really had to step in last year when Charles Bell went out midway through the season, with an injury. First of all, how does he look going into 2018? And talk about that role a little bit, having to kind of step into that inside linebacker role midway through the season.
Charles is doing well. I played inside backer. I didn't change my position. But, I think just having a captain go down, a co-captain, that it just added another little bit to my role. And there was a lot of guys that I think him going down brought out the best in them because they understood that it was time for them to step up. Young guys, old guys, guys that hadn't played much that were thrown into the fire, or some older guys that were really ready to step up. And we saw that, and I was really proud as leader of the team to see how guys responded.
Joe, talk a little bit about what it's been like you've got a new head coach. As a quarterback, new head coach comes in, new offense. What's the comfort level going into year two now? How are you feeling as we roll into camp?
Going into year two, it's way more comfortable. You got a lot of guys from this off season. They're showing that they're being able to play way more fast than they have last year. It's not a lot of thinking going on. And a lot of guys buying into what the coaches brought.
Yeah.
Coach, you open up right away with a conference game with Rhode Island. First off, is there an extra sense of urgency do you feel in this team, as you head into week one, knowing that it's maybe knowing that it is a conference game and not a non-conference game?
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever really had. This is my 13th season as a head coach at the FCS level at 3 different universities. I don't think I've ever had an opening game as a conference opponent. So I do think there's a lot to be said about that. I've talked about it early on. I'm glad we're at home. Our season sets up well with 3 straight home games. But for me, it's always about the process of preparation. And if we just adhere to those things that we value most, and put together the kind of camp that we need to have, then regardless of who that opponent is in that first week, our football team will be ready to play at a high level. So we got a lot to play for, no doubt.
Yep.
And we're excited about that, and certainly excited to be at home to start the season.
Talk a little bit about camp. It's changed a lot. You talk about you've been doing this for a long time. There's pluses and minuses to everything. you feel like there's an advantage to not beating yourself up quite as much?
Are you
as
saying that I'm
used to?
old? Is that what you're saying?
A little older than me, but yeah.
It's changed dramatically. You know, this is my 35th season of coaching football on the collegiate level. I've coached in the National Football League. And I do think that we're making the right decisions for the game. I think player safety has got to be at the forefront of everything we do and all of our legislation, all of our conversations. And, you know, I give our student athletes a lot of credit. We ask an awful lot of them on a daily basis. You know the grind of camp. And I think it's always kind of funny because people say, Coach, are you excited? Well, I mean, camp is not really something that is necessarily fun.
Right.
You know, I'm excited for the season, but these student athletes that are here, they're getting ready to hit the grind. This thing is going to hit hard and fast here in a week, and we're going to have to invest, and, you know, we're going to get out of this thing what we put into it, so our input has to be at a really, really high level. But we are making some decisions to kind of spread out the volume of contact, cut back a little bit on the actual live scrimmage work that you have, and create a few more meeting and walkthrough opportunities. And I do think this is overall in the betterment of the game.
It's been Brandon's intriguing question of the day for the student athletes. So I'm going to ask it this time to begin with you, Troy. How much do you honestly love training camp?
Honestly, I've loved it more every year. So, you know, year one, year two, every practice is the Super Bowl. You're competing for playing time. You want to play. You're young. You're dumb. You're learning the system. Everything is so new, and really, you're just trying to go out and impress and do everything. Mm-hmm. And then year 3, 4, 5 now is like you just look at it as an opportunity to perfect your craft and go out, and some days, you know, I want to work on my feet or my tackling or whatever it may be that day. It's just another opportunity to get better and be out there for a couple more months with my friends and compete with those guys.
How about you, Joe? Training camp, your true feelings.
Training camp, like just as much as Troy said, just being able to go out there and compete with the guys, you know, that you're going to be battling with on Saturdays, you know, I love it because, you know, I'll be able to tell, you know, the corners on my team, like, hey, maybe you need to do this a little bit better or do this a little bit better. That way game day comes, you know, they have a little bit of advantage and a little bit more mentality going into whatever it is that they have to do.
I was waiting for lightning to strike you, man. That was a good answer, but I went to camp a lot, and I was like you. Like I never loved training camp. I'm not gonna lie. You come from a football family, though. What's that like? I mean, is there a kind of a level of, you know, expectation that you have? I mean, you're playing with your brother. Your dad played at Delaware. Talk a little bit about what that's like.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's you know, for me, I've grown up around football and specifically University of Delaware football for my whole life. I don't know what I would do with myself if I had an August free. Can't remember the last time I did, but you know, it's something we do because we love it. You know, from my dad to my mom loves it as much as all of us. You know, I love, my grandparents have a handicap box right behind the defensive bench, so they get to see me pretty animated on the sideline with the whiteboard and different stuff. So, you know, it's really special to be playing college football with my brother, right. Let alone at University of Delaware, and it's been the best decision of my life, and couldn't ask for much more besides to go out and have a really competitive year this year.
Joe, I know you played, you know, several kind of positions last year on the offensive side of the ball. As you go into year two, I mean, new head coach, what strides do you see, you know, in the offense, especially your role, you know, playing little quarterback, kind of like the slash role, running back, and even some wide receiver last year?
Yeah, you know, I was just, you know, happy to be able to contribute to whatever it is that I can do for the team. You know, just playing different roles and you know, just being there to be a good, you know, chess piece for our season, for the end of the season. You know, I just like to go out there and compete and just have fun with it. Yeah.
And coach, some of those weapons coming back, like the exciting freshman last year, Jamie Jarman, it was very exciting. I think everyone remembers that Richmond game, the moonsault into the end zone. So let's talk about some of those pieces coming back on offense and what you expect from that unit this year.
Well, we're going to have to have a little more balance. I think we have more than enough skill, more than enough physicality, size. We got good depth. We're just going to have to get a little bit more balance in our ability to throw the ball down the field and have a little more of a quick strike approach to scoring more points. But I think we're exactly where we need to be heading into camp, and certainly very excited to start our 2018 season.
All right, well, Troy, Joe, Coach Rocco, thank you so much for joining us on set. Good luck this season. Stay healthy, and look forward to you guys opening up against Rhode Island. Should be an exciting game to start the season.
All right, thank you very much.